Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. But I'm finally in here. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I see we got some people in here. Somebody said 9 hours later. We're just setting it up, man. We're just setting up the studio. We just had to turn on everything. So, boy, oh boy, we got a lot to talk about. So let's give it about another minute. I see we got some people in here. Let's give it about like another minute or so. Let everybody come in because I got a lot that I want to talk about. Excuse me, just dealing with a little cough here. I can't believe it. Make sure y'all check in. A random guy from Philadelphia was good. Uncle Broom, we outside. Welcome in, welcome in. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit the likes. Let's give it about another minute. Man, oh man, I cannot even believe what I'm about to get into. I had to get my notes ready. Y'all know when we do these lives, we just gotta make sure we organize before we come in here and start rambling. So let's give it about another minute or so. Make sure you check in. He said, "Here we go again." You damn right. Here we go again, man. I can't believe it. Jay, what's good? Okay, Louise, welcome in. Welcome in. Make sure you guys let me know where you're coming in from. We need to start respecting Bron, man. Hey, listen, I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan, but I got to tell you, man, this thing right here is really making me understand that LeBron he was definitely better than KD. I'm going to just go ahead and say that. Also, while you guys are coming in, let me give you my Twitter handle because I'm also on Twitter. I notice a lot of people like to chat on Twitter. So let me just post that here in the comment section and I'm going to pin that to the top. A lot of people ask us about our Twitter. So I'm just going to pin that to the top here. And then also, you guys can make sure you follow us on Instagram. Let me just put that up real quick. And then we're going to get it going. Let's give it about another 30 seconds or so. And then we're going to get it going. Let me just pin that right here. Oh, wow. Okay, let me respond. Man, you know damn well the Nets wasn't winning four straight. Yo, bro. Sean, first of all, appreciate that. Somebody actually posted on Twitter like they're going to get swept after going down 0-2. And I was like, that's impossible. So to see them get swept now, just incredible. Let's give it about 10 more seconds. You called, what did he say? This is from David Joseph. You called it, my brother. You called it. He's too skinny, like you previously said. Checking in from Baytown. Welcome in, Texas, man. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Thank you guys for being a part of this live. Make sure you guys hit the likes. We're gonna definitely get into this one right here. So just dealing with a cough, so just bear with me. So let the roast begin. Last time I did a live, Ben Simmons, that goddamn Ben Simmons made me cuss. Okay, he is not gonna make me cuss again. Ben Simmons made me cuss, and y'all saw how he decided to spare us with his presence by not even showing up. When I looked on the sideline of that bench, I was like, thank God this fool didn't even show up because only God knows what Ben Simmons was going to wear today. So he's not going to bring it out of me. Last time, Ben Simmons is the one that made me cuss. So I'm not going to do that this time. But the Nets season is officially over. I actually cannot believe that I'm sitting here saying that the Brooklyn Nets got swept. That last year's version of the Nets actually went further than this version of the Nets, and they had at least two fully healthy all-stars in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Going into this game, I think all of us could agree, all of us, that the number one thing we were all looking at was how was Kevin Durant going to bounce back? Coming into this game, coming into game 4, KD was averaging about 25 points per game. He was shooting about 36% from the field. I think 20-something percent or so from the three-point line. So KD was under a tremendous amount of pressure. And I thought coming into this game that Kevin Durant, in my personal opinion, looked like he was ready to play. KD didn't give me the sense as if, like, you know, he was. The moment I saw him hit his first few shots, I said to myself, I said, okay, Kevin Durant looks like he's ready to play. And I'm actually trying to pull up the box score right here for the game because in the first half, KD looked like he was about his business. I think in the first half, he had like 19 points or so. So while KD was looking good, I just kept on thinking to myself, and I'm sure the majority of you guys watching that game were thinking the same thing. They're still going to lose. I don't think anybody watching that game at any point, even though you saw KD was playing well, I don't think anybody felt as if the Brooklyn Nets were going to win that game. I had no fear whatsoever that I thought that there was somehow going to lose that game. And in the end, the way we end this season is that the Brooklyn Nets get swept. This is bad. There's no two ways to say it. This is bad, because if this was LeBron, or if this was Kawhi, or if this was somebody else, they would be making the biggest deal out of it. So there's no way we're going to come out of this and say, oh, you know what? It was bad. And KD's going to definitely take a hit from this. But you know what? If you ask me, I think this Brooklyn Nets team deserved to get swept. They deserved to get swept. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit the like button, and also make sure you follow us on Twitter. We pinned that to the top there because I know a lot of people want to talk on Twitter. Somebody just left a comment. The best Nets players tonight were the referees. No, seriously. All jokes aside, I think the Nets deserve to get swept. This Brooklyn Nets team, from the beginning to the season to the end of the season, was a total disaster. I think the biggest mistake that was made with this team, the biggest mistake, and trust me, people are going to be talking about it tomorrow. Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, all of them. I think the biggest mistake that was made was that Kevin Durant listened to Kyrie Irving. I think this was the biggest mistake. Kyrie is not a leader. He is not. Kevin Durant is not known as a leader. And when you have the best player on the team taking his cues from Kyrie, that was the first problem, in my personal opinion. You see, Kyrie Irving, somebody said, hold on, is it lagging? Somebody saying that the quality is bad. Is the video lagging? Let me know if it's lagging. Let me know if it's lagging, guys, so we can continue. Make sure you guys hit the likes. Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you for that. Just let me know if it's lagging. Okay, I'm good. All right, appreciate that. Thank you. Joseph, where is the hat? The Price is Right TV show losing horn? yo. Now I got to get on Kyrie. A lot of people, especially Brooklyn Nets fans, gave Kyrie Irving the benefit of the doubt because of his stance. I think people, and I think what you're going to see right now with Kyrie is this. People are going to realize, like, okay, wait a minute, dude. We supported you with your stance on the vaccine. We had your back. But after they got the ban lifted and you could play, it was now about what are you going to produce for us when you actually play. I think a lot of Brooklyn Nets fans are beyond the fact of feeling, oh, we support you. Now we're like, okay, bro, you're here. You only played about a third of the season, maybe a quarter of the season. So you should be fully rested and you should have fresh legs and you should be able to go out there and perform. And I think that Kyrie Irving, for all of the concessions that Brooklyn Nets fans gave him, for all of the concessions that Kyrie Irving fans gave him, he didn't give Kevin Durant enough help. After game one, Kyrie didn't do anything. After game one of this series, after I think he scored 38 points, Kevin Durant did not get the help that he needed when he was playing bad. And this is what I was saying about this Brooklyn Nets team. When you had James Harden, the chances of 2 out of those 3 guys playing poorly would be very hard because they would be able to play one-on-one. But when you have a scenario where Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were the 2 main scorers, if one of them has a bad night, the other guy has to have a good night. And when KD was struggling in game 2 and game 3, Kyrie Irving didn't help him. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Kyrie Irving sideways. Trust you me. Stephen A. Smith, Jay Williams, all of these guys are going to be getting on him. Kyrie Irving was just basically saying that those guys have chemistry. They got chemistry and we don't. When you say something like that, I'm going to get to your comment. When you say something like that, it's going to cause people to say, well, Kyrie, how come the Nets don't have chemistry? So Kyrie's going to take a lot of heat. Let me get to this question here. Is it possible for this team to win? I had deep questions about their maturity and leadership before Harden, KD, and listen. I don't think so, and I'm going to get to that a little bit later. Thanks for the question. I don't think so. Kyrie Irving at the heart of the team with his mental illness. He got to go with Simmons. So Kyrie Irving definitely needs to get some blame. If KD's going to get some blame, Kyrie has to get some blame. If they were calling Kyrie Irving the most skilled basketball player of all time, he needs to take some of this. It can't all be on KD. We can't just blame KD and the coach. So that's the first thing. Let me get into the game, though. Let me get to the game. As I said before, at no point did I think the Boston Celtics were going to lose that game. Even when KD was hitting shots, the Boston Celtics simply kept on running their off. Did you look at the Boston Celtics players' faces? Did any of those guys give you the impression that they were going to lose? Those guys looked totally confident. You know why? This is why I think the Boston Celtics were confident. Number one, they knew that they had two players in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum that could counteract anything Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving could do. If those guys can go out there and score 60, these two guys can go out there and score at least 50 together. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. The Boston Celtics players knew that if they needed to get stops, they could get stops. But they knew that if the Brooklyn Nets could not get needed to get stops, they wouldn't. And that's what happened. It got to one point in the game. The Nets, I think, were down 10 points. They scored 9 in a row, and they couldn't get stops. And I think that is the reason Boston wasn't worried. Boston always knew that they were going to be able to score on Brooklyn. And they just kept on scoring on them. Okay, we got some more comments here. Kevin Durant joining LeBron James as a spectator. Let me see what this other comment said. Okay, appreciate that. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I don't think Boston was. I don't think the Boston Celtics were. Boston knew that they were the better team. They were the better defensive team. If Kevin Durant went off for 40, they still would have lost because he still would have needed more help. And he didn't get that. So that's the first thing. I got to give KD some credit. He bounced back. I think Kevin Durant finished his game. How many points did he finish the game with? 31 points. He shot 42% from the field, 27% from the floor. So he didn't shoot a great percentage. But if I'm going back to Kyrie Irving, these playoffs averaged, think about this, 21.7 points. He shot 44% from the field, 33% from the three-point line. He got you, 5.3 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 2.3 turnover. That's not enough help. For all of the things, for all of the concessions that these fans gave you, that's not enough help. And we're not going to put all of this on KD. That's the one thing. But KD did have a bounce-back game. Listen, I think the Brooklyn Nets have a serious problem. They have a serious problem. I think the Brooklyn Nets, they need to do something. I think one of the things the Brooklyn Nets need to consider doing, as y'all know, Kyrie Irving has a contract coming up. He has a contract, and I'm going to get to Ben Simmons and Steve Nash a little bit later. So just stick around. I got a lot that I want to get to. So make sure you guys get your popcorn when I get to Ben Simmons. I think the Brooklyn Nets as an organization need to ask themselves the question, do we want Kyrie Irving to be a part of this team moving forward? Is he a good chemistry guy? In my personal opinion, I don't think he is. Why do I say that? If y'all noticed, wherever Kyrie Irving goes, there's some damn drama. Wherever Kyrie goes to, there's always an issue. Always. It was the same thing in Cleveland. It was the same thing in Boston. And now it's the same thing in Brooklyn. It's always something. And I think that for a dude that is that high maintenance, that has so much drama surrounding him, what he gives you on the court is not the risk is not enough. It's not up to the reward. He's not out there giving you Kevin Durant production or LeBron James production or Kawhi Leonard production or Giannis, he's not giving you a fraction of that. Kyrie missed the entire season, basically. He came back and he pretty much didn't do anything apart from game one. I think they need to move him, in my personal opinion. I don't see how KD can win with him. I just don't. Some people would think that's an unpopular decision, position. They got to move him because I don't see how they're not going to move Kevin Durant. They're not going to trade KD clearly. And Kyrie Irving, he has a contract. If I'm Brooklyn, I'm not offering him that contract. I'm not. He's not worth it. And the reports earlier were the only reason Brooklyn wanted Kyrie was because KD wanted Kyrie. And if they knew that they were going to get Kevin Durant, if that meant that they would have to get Kyrie, then they said, okay, we'll get him. But Kyrie Irving hasn't been worth it. That's the first thing. Let me get to Ben Simmons. No, first of all, let me get to the coach. Steve Nash needs to get fired. Steve Nash needs to get fired. I was watching that game. Okay. I was watching that game. And do y'all realize for the second game in a row, Steve Nash elected to play Blake Griffin in the fourth quarter. I'm looking at the periods here. Did he play him in the first quarter? Let me look at the box score. Did he play? No. Did he play in the second quarter? No. Blake Griffin, if I look at all the periods in the game, I'm just looking at the box score here. He played, how many minutes did he play? He played 17. Okay, he played 17 minutes. He got some minutes. Did he get some minutes in the third quarter? Let me see. Did they play Blake Griffin? He played, listen to this. He played Blake Griffin 2 minutes in the third quarter, 2 minutes. In the fourth quarter, he plays Blake Griffin 11 minutes. If you guys were watching the game, you would hear them say, Stan Van Gundy saying, Blake Griffin is gassed. He is gassed. He is giving you everything that he got. And my question is this. If you saw the success of having Blake Griffin in the lineup in game, 3, why are you waiting to the end of the third quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter, to throw a guy in the game that hadn't played any minutes whatsoever and ask him basically to be an energy guy and play the whole fourth quarter when he doesn't have a rhythm whatsoever? In game 3, Blake Griffin was playing off of pure adrenaline. The guy had no rhythm. Even Stan Van Gundy was saying, you're asking a lot of Blake Griffin, a guy that hasn't played a lot of minutes. That's number one. Number two, why would you start Andre Drummond, play him? How many minutes did he play him? Let me see how many minutes he played this. How many minutes did he play this dude? Let me look at all the periods. He played Andre Drummond a grand total of 3 minutes and 36 seconds. So why would you start him in the first place? Listen, Steve Nash needs to be fired. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I was listening to Speak for Yourself the other day. Steven Jackson went on the show. He says Steve Nash has no business even having that job. They have to fire this dude. But it goes back, Steve Nash, the problem with Steve Nash goes back to the Nets, their entire culture, and it goes back to Kyrie again, because Kyrie Irving was the dude that said that they don't need a coach. How can you have one of your superstars talking about you don't need a coach? How can you have that? You got them pulling up quotes from Kevin Durant talking about when KD was complaining about the motion offense in Golden State. Complaining about that, talking about how sometimes he feels it's important to have more ISO ball. And they went and got a coach in Steve Nash that would pretty much let them do whatever the hell they want. I was watching that game. Let me get to your comment. Thanks for that. Bro, I love your channel. Blame Durant because you never blame coach for LeBron James. Be fair. That's a good point. You see, this is what happens when people say, wait a minute, you guys are blaming LeBron for everything, but when it comes Kevin Durant's turn, you want to blame the coach. This guy's making a good point. He is making a very good point. I'm not the guy that's what's the word, that is sitting up here trying to be right. If somebody's right, they're right. You know what? You're right. You got to blame KD because KD was the one that wanted to play with Kyrie. And trust you me, people are going to be talking about why Kevin Durant left Golden State, why he left Stephen Curry to go play with Kyrie Irving. And guess what? I was one of the people early in the season that got on Stephen A. Smith for saying, no, Stephen A. Smith, you're trying to put in a narrative. But guess what? Now there's going to be nobody. Thank you for that. There's going to be nobody that's going to be able to save KD because you wanted Steve Nash. You wanted to play with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving ain't worth it. Would Kyrie Irving be an NBA champion had he not played with LeBron? The answer is no. He would not have been a champion. You know how I know that? It's not like as if we're talking about Shaq and Kobe. It's not like as if Shaq and Kobe needed each other. Shaq left Kobe, went to Miami and won another championship, went back to the finals. Kyrie Irving has not been back to the final. Kobe went to another finals. Kyrie has not had any kind of success, experience any of the type of success he had with LeBron than when he was on his own. The Boston Celtics, the Boston Celtics that he was criticizing, those guys made it further than he did. They made it further without him than they did with him. So KD is going to be taking a lot of criticism. So for me, listen, if we're going to talk about the coach, they need to fire Steve Nash. Thank you guys for being a part of this live. I see we have 1,000 people. I think this is the most people we've ever had. So I got to do a good job for you guys. Somebody wrote, they got swept. Bro, they got swept. I can't even believe it. And I haven't even got to Ben Simmons. Trust me. You guys want to stick around for that roast. Again, if you guys also want to make sure you follow us on Twitter, make sure you check me out on Twitter. I'm going to post that right here because I notice a lot of people like to chat on there. And also make sure you follow us on Instagram because I do answer a lot of questions. And sometimes people send me, video suggestions. So make sure you follow us. Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate the support there. So Steve Nash has to be fired. If they bring back Steve Nash, just know you're dealing with a clown show organization. Just know that. To me, I don't think the Brooklyn Nets should offer Kyrie Irving an extension. I think they should let that dude go. Kyrie has too many issues, man. He is too much drama with Kyrie Irving. It's always something. Let him go. Which brings me now to the biggest clown on the Brooklyn Nets, which is goddamn Ben Simmons. Last time we did a live, that joker actually made me cuss on one of my, I've never cussed on this channel, but Ben Simmons was the only, you know how they say you bring the best out of me? Ben Simmons brought the worst out of me. He brings the worst out of me, this dude. This dude has, if y'all paid attention to the media today, he has been the number one talking. Somebody said Mark Jackson. You can't have Mark Jackson and Kyrie Irving in the same building. You can't have that. If they hire Mark Jackson, it would be like them saying, okay, we want an adult in the room. And Kyrie Irving and these guys would be like, nah, man, I don't think I'm ready for all of that right now. I don't think Kyrie Irving could actually handle a coach like that. Seriously. I'm not going to be one of these people defending him. Kyrie, everybody, at least the supporters of you, they stood by you. They sat back and listened to everything you had to say. All the theories, all your people supported you. But at the end of all of that, they're like, okay, now you're playing. What are you going to do? And what did he do? Nothing. So I think they got to get rid of him. Let me get back to Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, as I told y'all the other day, is a total clown show, this dude. If y'all heard me on the live, I was saying, why is Ben Simmons dressed up like as if he is going to the goddamn circus? This dude had on pink glasses. What is it? A blue, black, like Ben Simmons is the most non-aware athlete I've ever seen. This dude doesn't even know what the hell he's doing. And just to let y'all know how bad it was, do y'all notice that he wasn't even on the sideline today? Do y'all think that was by chance? Do you think it was by chance that Ben Simmons wasn't on? So hold on, let me understand this. He was ready to play in game 4, right? Then, before game 4, he was sitting on the sideline with his clothes. Then we found out that he wasn't going to be able to play in game 4. So he didn't sit on the bench and support his team. So what happened? Why weren't you sitting on the bench this time? But let me guess. You had to go rehabilitate. I listened to another story. Thanks so much for that. Let me just respond to this comment. Thank you so much for that. Who had the worst year, LA or Brooklyn? Nash allowing hero ball was a failure, but shows KD, Kyrie dumb thinking how you win. Simmons should go. Who had a worse year? I think it would be the Lakers because, and I'm going to tell you why the Lakers, because the Lakers had more star power. And I think, I'm sorry to say, the Lakers had smarter people on their roster. LeBron clearly is the smarter guy than these guys over there. So I think it's more of a disappointment because you expected more. I don't think you can expect this rubbish from LeBron James that you expected from the Nets. The Nets are a clown show. For as bad as the Lakers management was, at least LeBron, you were going to get some high IQ basketball out there. You know that at least. So I would say it's the Lakers, given the magnitude of the players. But the Nets are a second close. They are a second close. Let me get back to Ben Simmons. You notice his ass wasn't on the bench. You noticed that, right? Why weren't you on the bench, Ben Simmons? You said you were ready for game 4. So what happened? Were you rehabilitating? Today, think about it. They came out with a report that basically said that Ben Simmons, with his agent Rich Paul, went to go meet with the Nets. Think about this, dude. They went to go meet with the Nets to talk about, listen to this, SHI. They went to go talk to the Nets ownership to talk about what they can do to come together to figure out a way to get him psychologically ready to play basketball. Help me understand something. Today is what? Monday, right? What was it? Game 2 was on what? Game 3 was on what? Friday, right? So you mean to tell me on Saturday? Game 2 was on Saturday, I believe. So basically over the weekend, Ben Simmons went through some type of mental trauma over the weekend after they lost, and therefore he can't play basketball anymore. Where do you hear this type of clown Oh my God, this dude gonna make me cuss again, man. Anyway, let me just read this comment. I'm not gonna cuss again over that dude. Kyrie is the most overrated player in the league. I also want to hear Durant is better. I don't want to hear Durant is better than Kevin. No, I never said. This dude gonna make me cuss again, and I'm not trying to cuss on this fool. I'm not trying to waste my ends on this dude right here, man. They got better dudes I can use my ends on than this dude right here. Ben Simmons is a clown. That is why I was surprised when people were celebrating when the Nets were able to trade for him. I said, hold up a minute. Y'all are celebrating trading away a dude in James Harden for all of his antics, for all of him not being in shape, a dude that played the most games, if we're talking about their big 3, for a dude that refused to play any games for the Sixers and is injured, that is coming to the net. Why would you be rejoicing to get that dude? People are like, oh, when you bring Ben Simmons together, the lethal combination of Ben Simmons and Kevin Durant, they're going to be locking dudes up and blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of BS, man. Ben Simmons, to me, is what you call a thief with a smile. He's a thief. That's what Ben Simmons is. The dude decided, I don't want to play any games for Philly. He decided on his own. And meanwhile, while all of this was happening, this is why I say the Nets have no leadership. KD, Kyrie, what is it? What's their GM? Is it Sam Presti? No, not Sam Presti. That's Oklahoma. What's the name of their GM? What's the name of the Brooklyn Nets GM? Somebody please just tell me what's the name of the Brooklyn Nets GM? I think he's Australian. He's a former player. What's his name? Brooklyn Nets GM. Damn, I forgot his name. All of these guys, Sean Marks. Thank you, Sean Marks. Kevin Durant, Kyrie, all of these dudes saw how mentally weak Ben Simmons was, and they said, you know what? Let's trade for him. They said, you know what? Let's bring him on our team. So you brought in Ben Simmons, who is probably one of the most mentally weak NBA players in the league. Then you couple him with Kyrie Irving, who could not play. You couple that with Kevin Durant, who was injured, and you couple that with Steve Nash, who's a terrible coach. What did you expect to happen? Thank you guys for being a part of. God damn, we got 1,000 plus. Man, y'all putting pressure on me, man. God. Okay, let me sit up for you guys. Okay, thank you guys for being a part of this live. Make sure you hit the like. Giannis call it. Ben is he is a baby. So to me, listen, I think if we're going to be talking about the resolution for this team, number one, they must let Kyrie Irving go. He is not worth it. Kyrie is not worth it. I'm sorry. He's just a guy that can score. It's not like as if Kyrie Irving, who's pretty much the same size as Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart is maybe, 2 or 3 inches taller than Kyrie Irving, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. How tall is Marcus Smart? Let me just get his height right here. Marcus Smart. Hold up. Marcus Smart. Let me see. Yeah. He's a point guard. And Marcus Smart, how tall is he? Let me see. I'm just pulling this up. He is 6'4". Okay. He is 1 inch taller than Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is 6'3", right? Kyrie Irving is 6'2". Okay, 6'2". Marcus Smart, at least, is a two-way player. Kyrie Irving, all he does is he doesn't even play any defense. Y'all know Kyrie never made an all-defensive team, not even all-third. Y'all know that? Do you know that if Kyrie Irving comes back next season, I can guarantee you Kyrie Irving will not play all of the games, and it will have nothing to do with injury. Something will happen, and this dude won't play. They got to get rid of Kyrie Irving. They got to trade him. Something got to happen. I think, this is what I think. I think if Kevin Durant had Jimmy Butler as his teammate instead of Kyrie Irving, I don't see the Brooklyn Nets being swept in round one. If Kevin Durant had Jimmy Butler as his teammate, there's no way the Nets get swept in round one. Jimmy Butler is not as talented as Kyrie. He cannot score as much as Kyrie, but number one, he has more heart. Number two, you know Jimmy Butler is going to be getting in people's faces. Nobody's going to be walking around with their head hung low. Jimmy Butler would have gotten dudes' faces. He would have competed. Kyrie Irving was just following KD, so they got to get rid of him. Ben Simmons, in my personal opinion, I think is going to be a cancer. Thank you guys for all of that. I think Ben Simmons is going to be a cancer to that team. It's like you're basically bringing a baby on your roster. Somebody you got a baby. Help me understand something. How is it possible that you have a professional athlete? How old is Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons, how old is Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons is, how old is this dude? Is 25. Think about it, bro. Ben Simmons is 25 years old. 25 years old. And he needs his teammates to be walking around holding his hand. This is the dude you expect to win a championship with? Ben Simmons? No, you got to get rid of Ben. I think the Nets are in a mess, man. I think they're in a mess. I think the Nets are in a mess, and I think Nick Wright and all of these guys that are roasting the Nets they're going to deserve it. They're going to deserve it. They are a mess. They are a mess. I think Kevin Durant made a mistake going to go play with Kyrie. When Kawhi contacted KD and said, "Do you want to be my teammate?" I think Kevin Durant made a mistake by picking Kyrie Irving over Kawhi. Can y'all imagine if KD and Kawhi were teammates? Just think about that for a second. You know that if Kawhi is having an off night, you know at least he can play defense and rebound the ball. You know that. What can Kyrie do? Nothing. He made a mistake, and people are going to get on him for it. And you know what's going to be worse? We did a video about this. There are few things that's going to be working against Kevin Durant. Thank you guys. Wow, we got 1,500 people. That's incredible. Appreciate you guys for being a part of this live. We really appreciate it. Never had this many people in here, so very humbled by it. Thank you guys for taking your time to be with us here. Really appreciate it. Anyway, listen, this is going to be the narrative. Do I think that Kevin Durant being swept in round one takes him out of the top 15, top 20 players of all time? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. He's done way too much for that to happen. So I don't think KD's legacy gets impacted in that way. It's not like as if he's not going to be a top 75. That doesn't happen. What I think happens is this. Number one, the whole thing of him and LeBron, him being the guy that, the guy that LeBron was competing, that's gone. Now it looks as if The only reason KD was able to beat LeBron in the finals was because he was playing with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. That conversation of KD being better than LeBron is gone, number one. Number two, the next thing that's going to happen is if Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors somehow make it back to the finals and somehow win, do y'all know that there's some people out there that are going to be saying Stephen Curry, who I don't think is better than Kevin Durant, by the way, should be ranked higher than KD all time? That's what's going to happen. That's number two. Number three, they're going to be saying, who do you know that was so stupid to leave the Golden State Warriors and Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson to go join Kyrie? That will be another story. That will be another thing that will be said about him. And number four, I'm going to get to your comment. And number four, if Giannis gets back to the finals or at least beats the team that beat him, and I don't think he has Chris Middleton, no one will be able to open their mouth and say that KD is better than Giannis. Giannis will officially be crowned the best player in the NBA. Because if he could beat the team and if he flourishes against the team that KD struggled against, it's going to be a bad look for KD. Let me respond to this comment. If KD went to Miami to join Butler, would they butcher the roster, or would KD be looked at as KD really wants to be a LeBron? I don't know, man. Listen, I just think that no matter what Kevin Durant does at this point, he's not going to be viewed in the same light as LeBron James. He's not, because the fact of the matter is he's just not as good. Period. He's just not as good. Stephen Curry is higher all time in my book already. You see, that's what's going to happen. This is what's going to start happening. People are going to start rating him this way. So before I take any more of your time, let me say this in closing. I know we got a lot of people in here. God damn, we almost got, this is crazy. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. But let me say this about the Nets' future. Number one, I think that this experiment has not worked. 3 years in, it has been a failure. It has been a failure. Last season, the reason people said that Giannis Antetokounmpo made it to the finals was because KD's foot was on the toe, his toe was on the line, and blah, 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 blah. That's why he missed, and Kyrie got injured. And that wasn't the case this season. There are no more excuses left. Because some people could say, no, when they get healthy, they're going to come. That's over with. This team, they need to blow it up. You keep Kevin Durant. You keep Patty Mills. You keep Blake Griffin. I don't know why they didn't play LaMarcus Aldridge. He would have brought a lot of size. He would have brought a lot of rebounding. He would have brought a lot of rim protection. He would have been able to hit some mid-range jump shots. They would have been able to run some pick and roll with him. I don't know what the hell these guys were doing. They need to fire Steve Nash. They need to go out there and get like a Mark Jackson. Get a coach that will coach you hard. If they get a Mark Jackson, they fire Steve Nash, they think about letting Kyrie Irving walk or trade him or something, then I'll say the Brooklyn Nets have, because they have a lot of great individual pieces in Seth Curry and all of these guys, and Claxton. They have Drummond and all of these guys, but they need to get rid of some of these other pieces. Let me respond to this. You're right about KD and Kyrie being beta males, non-leaders. If they had a true leader, team would be much better. Yeah, I agree with you. Let me see what this other Ryan. The only player Giannis has not checked off his list is Kawhi. Yeah, that'll probably happen next year. But to me, that's what I think needs to happen. They need to get rid of that guy. And I think Kevin Durant is going to go home and have a long think to himself and say to himself, wait a minute. Did I leave a good thing to go put myself in a situation that I didn't need to put myself in? I think KD, unfortunately, listened to too many people. I think he listened to people that don't matter. You're one of the best players in the world. You're in a fantastic situation. Why would you let people talk you out of that situation to leave it to go be with Kyrie Irving and be in a situation that you're not going to be happy in? If KD was still on the Warriors, they would probably have won another championship or be one of the teams heading to the championship round this year. But instead, he left a good thing. He left something that wasn't broken and went and broke it and went to another situation. I think KD's going to regret that. I think he's going to deserve all the criticism that he gets. They need to fire Steve Nash. And if Giannis goes further than KD, it's over. Let me read through some more of your comments, and then before I let you guys go. Also, real quick again, if you guys haven't followed us on Instagram, let me just post that right here because we definitely will be taking some of your suggestions on there. So let me just pin that to the. Let me just 1 second here, and then I'm going to respond to some of your comments. So let me see some. If you guys have any questions, let me go through some of your questions real quick. Knicks fans approve of this sweep. Well, I saw Spike Lee. Yo, did you say Nick? Yo, that's hilarious, bro. All right. KD needs to stop reading. Yeah, he needs to stop reading that. Why you listen to people on like just forget it, bro? You're KD. You got $100 million in your bank account. Just put on your headphones and go to sleep, man. Like, why would you listen to these people? Okay. Curry and Giannis is better than KD. I'm not going to be the one to argue against that. Trade Ben Simmons to the Lakers for that. I don't think the Lakers should want that dude, man. I mean, he's a clutch client, but I don't think they should want him. KD is no Batman. That's what it's looking like. It all started with Draymond. Talk about the Celtics. Listen, I'll talk about the Celtics. And thank you for that because I wanted to talk about the Celtics. Listen, this Boston Celtics team is a hell of a team. I think they're deep. I think they're young. I think they're hungry. They're well coached. They're a great defensive team. And most importantly, this team has chemistry. Now, I think they're going to be playing. Let me pull up the NBA brackets. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're going to be playing. Let me look at the playoffs brackets. Just 1 second. Let me see who are they playing in the second round. Let me see. How come? Okay, yeah. So I think Boston is going to play. Boston most likely was going to play Milwaukee. Now that Boston is advanced and Milwaukee is going to advance, it most likely, and Milwaukee advance. Listen, I can't pick against Giannis, man. I like this Boston Celtics team. They can win, but I cannot pick against Giannis for two reasons. Number one, he's Giannis freaking Antetokounmpo. I don't think the Celtics are going to be able to do unless they build this wall. But Giannis plays with it. Giannis has a different type of game. Giannis plays with physical. He's going to be like a bowling ball knocking over those pins or whatever they call them, the pins or whatever it is. Giannis is not going to be deterred, man. He's going to be putting people in the rim, right? I think this series is going to come down to Giannis being able to hit free throws, being able to hit some wide open jump shots, and being able to attack in the fast break. You're not going to be able to do to Giannis what you did to KD. I cannot pick against Giannis. I can't. They're the champs. I'm not going to pick against the champs. Let them knock them off. If they knock them off, then fine. I'm not going to pick against the Bucks, man. I'm not going to pick against them. And if the Bucks do advance, if they advance past them, they're going to the finals. I don't think Miami can beat the Bucks, and I don't think Atlanta can beat the Bucks. I don't know what's going to happen with Chris Middleton, right? I don't know. Is Chris Middleton, can he come back? Or does he have to get surgery? I don't think. And let me talk about the Nets. The Sixers. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Philly either, man. I think Joel Embiid is injured. I don't know what's happening with those dudes. Bucks are fraud, bro. I don't think the Bucks are frauds, man. I don't think they are. I'm not picking against the Bucks, man. I'm not. And in the West, I think most likely we're going to see the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors. And I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. Doc Rivers, man. Celtics in 7. Okay, I think I wouldn't be mad, to be honest with you. Boston made it to the finals and won. I wouldn't be mad if Giannis made it. I wouldn't be mad. I'm happy with all these teams, and I think it's one of the reasons the NBA ratings are high because I think people are happy with this. But anyway, guys, so these are my thoughts and opinions on this series. It's a sweep. I can't even believe it. They're going to be roasting them tomorrow. So thank you guys for that. Let me see thoughts on what the Sixers should do if they blow this series against the Raptors. And if they blow this series against the Raptors, I think they should fire Doc Rivers and not allow him to come into the NBA again. This dude would have blown so many leads, so many series. I think they would just have to get rid of him at that point. They would just need to get rid of him. So to me, the Wolves will win. We'll see. But anyway, thank you guys for being a part of this live. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram. Again, if you guys want to chat during these games on Twitter, here's my Twitter. I'm going to post it here real quick. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. Appreciate that. Tatum has arrived. Yeah, he's definitely arrived, man. I'm going to let you guys go watch some more playoff games. We'll definitely catch you guys on the next live. Thank you so much. We're very humble for having this many people in here. It's a blessing. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that. You guys have a good one. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.